Lightweight women's singles. Here we have the lineup. You see it. Margaret Kremen, who usually races you, Imogen, in the double, but she's in the single now.
Yeah, usually in the double, but racing in the single. Her doubles partner, Aoife Casey, not at this regatta. See Alina Furman, I think she's 6 foot tall. I've raced her before. She's had a couple of years out, but she's back on the scene now. Margaret Kremen, who was in that really gutsy race in the Irish lightweight women's double to qualify in 7th place at Worlds. Kristina Nojotova for Czechia. She's medalled a couple of times in the lightweight single. Aurélie Morizot, she is the 3rd ranked lightweight sculler for France, their lightweight women's double, yet to qualify, and choosing to sit this regatta out as well. Maya Emily Lund, she medalled at the first World Cup in Varese, which was a great achievement for her. She was really excited about that. And rounding out the field, Dora Dragicevic, medal in Zagreb last year, and young sculler for Croatia. They're sitting there at the start line. They're looking at a long race here. Light boats, all of these girls weighed in at 59 kilos a couple of hours ago.
How long is it going to take them, Imogen?
Say 8.5 minutes.
Who holds the world's best time in this, Imogen?
Oh, well, you know.
It won't be a world's best time today because it's tough headwind conditions. We see the scullers getting away and pressing it out. Pretty decent start across the field.
Yeah, we won't see the Croatian sculler, sadly, Dora Dragicevic, 28-year-old, over on this side. So let's take a look at the Irish sculler. So this is Mags Kremen. You've heard that she normally partners Aoife Casey. She was at the Olympics in Tokyo, but it's interesting background. She's coached by Dominic Casey, the Skibbereen coach. She was forced into rowing. Her dad took her to the car park in Skibbereen, and she didn't want to get out the car. And basically, he kind of kicked her out the car and forced her to Dominic Casey's sort of little session. He runs an amazing youth setup in Skibbereen. But it is Aurélie Morizot who's leading. Anyway, Mags Kremen is here. And Aoife, if you're watching this back home, we hope that you're getting better. We hope you're on the road to recovery. We hope we see you with Mags in the lightweight women's double in Lucerne, going up against Imogen Grant and hopefully her normal partner, Emily Craig.
But yeah, back to the racing at hand. It was France, Aurélie Morizot, who took it out for the last 250 metres, but the stroke rates have dropped. These scullers are now on their mid-race pace, and I feel like these top 3 crews, it's already tightened back up. We've got 3 crews in a line. Alina Furman, Aurélie Morizot and Margaret Kremen pretty much neck and neck at the moment as we approach the first 500-metre marker.
So I think the favourite for this race has got to be Furman, the neutral athlete on the far side. You can just see her there. She is kind of back in 3rd place at the moment. Kremen's having a great scull, just moving through Morizot. And it will be the Irish woman who hits the first 500 ahead of Alina Furman, the neutral athlete.
But you've said it's going to be a long race, and it's about settling into a pace which is steady, consistent. All the athletes keeping the race ticking along, actually, 34, 35 strokes a minute. You don't really want to let the boat stop in these kind of conditions. But Furman making a move there, top of the screen, as you said, favourite for the race, just pushing through Mags Kremen now.
Yeah, Alina Furman, she tends to underrate the field. She's very tall, got really long levers, so wants to use those levers. Down at 32, Reston 33, maybe 34 as well. But Margaret Kremen's looking good there. She's just tracking where she is. She'll be able to see out of her peripheral vision, have a really good idea of where the crews are in this race. And if you know the Irish, they know how to sprint.
They do know how to sprint, but there's not much you can do, is there, when you're in a single scull like this, and in your peripheral vision you can see someone's just moved from kind of half a length behind you to now half a length in front. And there's nothing that Mags Kremen can really do to respond to that by the looks of things here.
Well, the neutral athlete from Minsk is a veteran not just of the Tokyo Olympics, where she was in your event, Imogen, in the lightweight women's double sculls, finished 11th, but she also was in Rio in the open weight women's pairs, where I think she finished in the B final. Her husband's Dimitri, and he rode in the Olympics too in the men's pair. stalwart of their team, and well, Furman very much favourite for this race.
And I'm just looking at the steering here, and both the crews kind of drifting over towards the boys, which would go with the way the wind's blowing you. Imogen, what was it like on the water in terms of steering when you were out there yesterday?
It's difficult when you're heads in the middle of the race, and especially these guys, they've only got one blade on each side, and they need to use that to push, to steer, and to stabilise the boat. So there's a lot to manage when you're just one person in a single. But as we're approaching halfway, it looks like the margins are stretching out, probably about as we expected. Like you said, Elena Furman was probably favoured from the preliminary race in a couple of days ago, and she's just stretched out to clear water over Margaret Kramer here. Aurélie Morizot currently in third place, but Kristina Nojotova is definitely not out of it there. I think there's going to be a battle there for that bronze medal.
Yeah, Nojotova took the third place medal in this event in Bled in 2022, and to do that she had to come through the field. She was, you know, not in a great position in the first quarter or the second quarter, but really came well through the second 1,000. So the Czech athlete does have a good second half, and we might see her figure, wind permitting, I guess.
Yeah, wind permitting in the centre of the course. We're looking for that race where the fast starting French sculler is going to be able to maintain her speed or get a move through from the Czech sculler who's beside her. Those two are quite close. They're not on our screen right now, as you can see. We're with Furman at the front of the field. Yeah. Using that height, using that low stroke rate, and just keeping moving the boat along into this wind. Yeah,
if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see she has really, really high distance per stroke, and she's just able to hang off that. She's got really loose shoulders. She's sculling really well in this really difficult conditions. But that battle for the bronze medal is definitely heating up. Aurélie Morizot really led it out early on, and like we said last year at Europeans, Kristina Nojotova came through the field, and she might be able to do it again.
That'd be amazing if she does it 2 years in a row. Morizot looks pretty set in that rhythm. I think Nojotova looks a little bit more racy, the 27-year-old, coached by Tom Kakowski.
Yeah, Morizot looks heavy now, doesn't she? The French sculler. The boat's going to be really heavy in this headwind to keep it going. After she went out so hard so early, she'll be at that red line now that you mentioned.
What do you reckon Dominic Casey's going to be saying to Max Kremen with that style, Imogen?
Oh, these Irish girls are tough as nails. You know, they train in all sorts of conditions out in Skibbereen, and they push each other really hard, so she's just going to be gritting her teeth and doing the absolute best that she can as we approach the closing 500 metres of this race.
So the neutral athlete goes through 1,500 metres. Elena Furman has really taken this race by the scruff of the neck. It is the Irish woman, but you can see the jeopardy is for that third place, that bronze medal between Aurélie Morizot and the Czech Kristina Nojotova.
Yeah, absolutely, that's where the jeopardy is, that bronze medal. You can see it, a good move from the Czech sculler. I can't see Morizot, the French sculler, being able to respond really now. Having been up and leading, it would take something pretty special to turn that around, having been sculled through. Anything's still possible, of course, with 400 metres to go.
So fantastic overhead shot. It's looking like it's going to go the same way as the preliminary race. That's where these lanes were seeded from. Kristina Nojotova has just about half a length over Aurélie Morizot, who led this race out. They are stroke for stroke, but the Czech sculler has just slightly more meters per stroke, slightly more distance per stroke as we come into this final 250 meters. I don't know how much of a sprint they're going to be able to do in these kind of headwind conditions.
Well, it's going to be hard, yeah. I'm looking at the rates. They're both at 31 strokes a minute. So, I mean, it's sprinting, but it's not sprinting using rate, really, is it? It's just a case of trying to get the distance to keep the boat moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes sprinting is just up one from whatever you were before.
So Elena Furman, I imagine that's her husband Dimitri on the bank. That is watching the 32-year-old veteran from Rio and the Tokyo Olympics. No doubt about her credentials in this field. I don't think we're going to see Elena in the Paris Olympics unless there is a neutral lightweight double scull that's formed. But there is Nojotova, and as I look out, Nojotova does have half a length lead over this woman here, Aurélie Morizot, the 25-year-old French woman from Boulogne, up there in the north of France, and it is Nojotova who will take that third at the moment. But Thurman, no doubt about her, just like Niels Torre in the race before, the Italian, she wins by an ocean of water. Max Kremen comes in second place. Decent morning's work for the Irishwoman. And Neuhotova, well, she's completed that double. She did it last year, came through the field in the Europeans, and she did it again to beat Aurélie Morizot. And looking at the field, I think it is Maja Lund coming in fifth, and Dora Dragicevic from Croatia coming in sixth place.
Well, that was a tough race, as we thought it would be, into that strong headwind. They finished in 8 minutes 32. That's about 1 minute and 10 seconds slower than Imogen Grant's world best time. Sat beside me, that was 7:23 that you set. So yeah, a long and tough race out there.
Yeah, really impressive from all of these athletes. Aurélie Morizot led it out, but it was the favoured lane, Elena Furman, who was able to do the damage through the middle, as with Kristina Neuhotova, to overturn that third placing, and Margaret Kremen, really solid scull to move away with a really confident second place.
Yeah, and Margaret Kremen's not one of the taller athletes, so we're going to have a medal ceremony when they come up, and we'll have one of the tallest, and just see how tall Furman actually is.
Yeah.
Confirmation that the neutral athlete Elena Furman did win by a decent margin, 10 seconds ahead of the Irish and Czech